G'day, welcome back. We're bringing you another install, this time on a 2018 to 2020 Jeep Wrangler JL, and we are installing these badass, sleek, aggressive new fender flares. Now these things come packed with functionality. First of all, they've got an extra LED DRL light, they've got an extra LED turn signal light that is sequential. It has a powder-coated steel build right here. It's got high wheel clearance, it's a functional design, and it's gonna join you on all your off-road adventures. It does take a moment to get this thing installed. We gotta take the OEM one off, we gotta put on a new one, and we gotta rewire the lights here. So it is a bit of an effort. Let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is go underneath the stock OEM front fender to remove this plastic inner liner. There are 4 bolts that we are going to need to remove to get this thing off. There's also one other point where we have to remove a clip. Now you can just use a tool here to notch this off with a bit of pressure. The other 4 bolts should be quickly removed with a tool. We can now go ahead and with a bit of force remove the OEM front fender with that plastic inner liner. Be very careful with the next step, as we need to remove this electric connector for the front fender lights. So first we detach it from the top, and then we go ahead and unclip it. Make sure the little red tab in the back is flicked in the back position, and then you can easily detach both sides. Now, why was this so hard to get off? This is due to these little white clips. They're one-time use, easy to get, and there are 11 of them that you are going to need to remove to get this thing off. Now, it is a painstaking process to remove these manually, and here's how it's done. You're going to need to get some pliers. You're going to tension from the front as you release the clip from the back. Now you could take the time to remove all of these, or you could just pull it off like we did and end up at the same spot a whole lot quicker and ready to move on with your installation. We're heading back to the workbench to talk about the wiring for a moment. This is the main connector for the turn signal wiring harness. One of these 2 wires with the blue connectors will be connected back into the red wire for the sequential turn light, depending on the trim. Then we have the relay. Along the side, closer up the harness, we have another connector for the DRL light. Make sure these are connected as shown. And that is the complete wiring harness. Before we move on, we need to flip the fender flare to secure our weather seal. The flat side should be facing out. Before we head back to the Jeep though, let's discuss the wiring for the different trims. If your Jeep's turn signal lights or DRL are LED from the factory, then you will need to connect the red wire for the higher trim. For the higher trim, you also need to plug the white wire into the relay as shown to complete the wiring. Whereas if your Jeep turn signal lights are halogen that you find on lower trims, then plug in the white wire for this connection. And be sure to seal the loose connection on the red wire with electrical tape. Keep in mind, if you choose the wrong wire, the lights will not function properly. Now we can head back to the Jeep and prepare our bolts. We've got 9 points to secure for each fender flare. This includes 2 brackets on the top. We prepare our bolts by layering them with the metal washer first, and then the thin plastic washer to protect the paint. Go ahead and put them somewhere easy to reach for the next step. We're lucky enough to have a heavy-duty lift here, but if you don't have these means, you might want to take the wheels off for your access. Carefully rest the fender flare on the 2 brackets as shown. Line them up just right and secure these top 2 points first. Leave everything loose as we'll be tightening it all down afterwards. Some of these top points do get a little tight and you'll need a tool to properly secure them. With it all loose, make sure your alignment is right, and then you can tighten it all down. We're almost done installing this new fender flare, and it's already looking sleek and awesome. So now we can start connecting the wiring to the OEM connectors. We start by plugging the main connector into the OEM connector as shown. For our install here, we are using a white wire for the halogen turn signal lights. As mentioned earlier, you have to prepare these wires according to the Jeep's trim. So plug the white wire into the red wire as shown. It is recommended to use electrical tape to seal off these connections and any openings. Now is a good time to test the lights while you still have access, before any aftermarket liners might be installed. The lights should be working well, indicating that we can move on and wrap up this install. We still have a lot of loose and messy wires hanging here, and now is the time to clean all of this up. Grab some zip ties, start bundling and securing those wires to the Jeep. It should end up looking nice and clean, ready for that aftermarket fender liner to provide full protection on the trail. These new front fender flares are looking sleek, aggressive, functional, and ready for all of your off-road adventures. Go find some trail. And that wraps it up. Congratulations. This was a pretty lengthy install. Now it is going to take the average person about 3 hours to install this. That is taking the OEM off on both sides, putting on the new ones, and rewiring the lights. So give yourselves plenty of time, have fun. This thing should last you a very, very long time and help you on many, many off-road adventures. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.